So the slaughter you're about to witness is a result of a guild messing with our alliance. And by messing with our alliance, I mean pulling up on our family and, thinking they were going to go unchallenged. But in the wise words of Dominic Toretto,
you will never be able to break my family.
And so for 20 minutes straight, we applied belt to ass. Now, normally I narrate a fight, but this fight was not really worth narrating. Shout out to those guys, by the way, because they're still on the server. The last guild we beat at a Riftstone left the server and broke up. So shout out to them for sticking around and still fighting. So in lieu of narration, we're going to talk about the things wrong with Throne of Liberty right now, because as you can see, I haven't really been uploading anything Throne of Liberty related because I've very much lost interest in the game. I'm only still playing because I'm in a guild of people that still like to play the game. And for some reason or another, I do like those people. However, time and time again, NCSoft and Amazon Games have decided to f over the entirety of Pippin server by excluding us from everything that has to do with the game, while also giving us half the things that have to do with the game and robbing us from everything else. Now that sounds like a whole bunch of yap, but let me explain what I mean. As of the last big update we had on previous Wednesday, I believe it was, we no longer have crossplay when it comes to dungeons on Pippin, which is the PlayStation server. Now you're thinking, well, it's a PlayStation server. You probably shouldn't have crossplay on dungeons in the first place. We had crossplay on the dungeons when the game first started off. They took it away at one point, blaming Sony because Sony didn't want us to play with crossplay people. Then they put it back on for like 2 months, and they took it off again for another 3 weeks, then put it back on again for another 4 months. It's been an on and off relationship with this crossplay thing. And every time they've turned it on and off, they've had an excuse as to why they can't do it. And it's always changed from one thing to another. Now, okay, maybe no crossplay dungeons, I get it. But we still have the crossplay bosses and arch bosses, as well as Nebula. Which doesn't make sense, because if we can't crossplay dungeons, why are we allowed to crossplay, or why do we have to crossplay those other things? And then the big elephant in the room, we don't have crossplay auction house. We have our own auction house with its own unique, completely ass backwards marketplace where people think everything is worth $100. Plot twist, it's not. And the excuse they use for market not being inter-server is because Sony and Steam have different fees for everything, so they can't let the currencies clash, which, fine, whatever. But that also wouldn't be true because PlayStation players are literally playing on crossplay, buying currency from the PlayStation Store and using it on the auction house that's crossplay. So which is it, you lying Woosa? Now, if you don't know what 2 plus 2 means, I'll go ahead and explain it for you this way. Every boss we go to, we have a chance of bringing it back to our server. Usually it's a 6-man, probably 12-man chance if we get, another guild from our server in that same instance that we're in. So let's run the average, because we usually get 6 people in from our server into one instance. So 6 people in a 96-man instance. We have a 6-man chance to pull an item that we might need from that boss. But the crossplay servers have a 90-man chance to pull that item that they need from that boss. And if they decide to sell it, that item then goes into their crossplay auction house that we have no access to, so we don't even get a chance to get that item from the auction house because it goes up on sale. Now, say that person on our server gets it and they decide they don't want it, so they're going to sell it to the server or put it on the auction house for our server in our auction house that's not crossplay. They're going to decide to put it up for some ridiculous price because the market is not regulated. And I'd like people to realize this. 6,000 Lucent is $100. You're asking someone to pay $100 for an in-game item that holds no relevance after 3 to 4 months. And that's just speaking on boss weapons. We're speaking on armor. We had the Orc Vanguard set that was selling for like 8K to 15K per piece on our server, when then the Goblin event dropped and all those prices pretty much dropped because they had to, because of the over influx of gear. That on top of the fact that we don't have new players coming into Pippin every day. We don't have new players coming into this game every day because everyone that decides to look up this game sees the negative about this game from every other creator creating negative videos. Generally, I don't create negative videos because I want games to succeed even if they're horrible, because we don't get games like that on PlayStation that much. But there comes a time in a man's life where he has to decide to stand up and do what's right and speak out against the bull. And by golly, that time is now. And to be honest, that's not even the biggest problem on Pippin. We have these weird divestors that think every other server is going to have a better Zerg than what we have on Pippin, or a better alliance that we have on Pippin that's running things. No, my guy, you're not touching those bosses on other servers. You're not getting close to those arch bosses on other servers. You're going to be fighting 8 to 12 guilds on those other servers trying to get to those bosses. At least on Pippin, you only have to fight against one alliance. But they don't want to do that because since the dawn of this server, everybody just wants to blame the alliance that's winning. They don't want to do anything to change that. There's only one guild that actually managed to go ahead and step out and change that for a long period of time, and it's the guild I'm in right now. Before they had their big alliance that they are now, they were a small guild that pulled up to every fight by themselves. They fought the other guilds in the First Legion Alliance, and win or lose, they kept pulling up. And in doing so, they made the friendship they had to make, they made the alliances they had to make with people that were just like them, and pushed out the bigger alliance. And look at them now, riding high on top of the rest of the server as the top alliance. And you know what made that possible? They were all willing to set aside their ego and merge with people that they needed to merge with to get that to work out. Everyone that joined this alliance were willing to drop their guild and become part of something bigger that meant taking out the original Zerg. When Pippin first started off, there were 1,000+ players on the server that had the same opportunity to do what they did, and they didn't do it. And you know what happened? Warlords and their original alliance kept reigning on all the way to the second siege, until their alliance backstabbed them and they broke down. But after that first siege, when 1,000 people realized they couldn't beat 200 people because they lacked the coordination and perseverance to do so, they all left the server. Like, a ton of people left the server. I'm talking mass exodus, like popping off, talking about, oh, the Warlords Alliance controls the server now. I guess we're just going to go ahead and go to another server. Like, you're not going to go have to fight 12 other guilds to get to a boss. Like, what? Like, there are people right now on crossplay servers that don't have an actual boss weapon from a world boss right now. They don't have one. Much less, those people don't have archboss weapons. I have an archboss weapon. Most people in my guild have archboss weapons. Most have multiple. And that's because we're challenging the archboss uncontested when it comes to war bosses. No one pulls up against us. The one alliance that did pull up against us literally quit the game and left the server after we beat him in the Riftstone. And of course there's going to be some wise guy out there like, well, Rap, on the other servers, we can get good a lot easier because the auction house is linked, so things are less pricey. My brother in Liberty, you're still paying like 10k for a Dagon staff. It's not that much cheaper. While yes, I get the gear and stuff and the trace might be cheaper over there, they could literally fix that for our server by giving us cross-server auction house, which they have no reason not to do. The fact is this, all the people that left the server because they think, you know, the Zerg is controlling the server, you're just running away from your problems. But you're not really running far because you're going to have to deal with the Zerg on whatever other server you go to. And lower auction house prices are only going to get you so far until you start realizing you want an arch boss or you want boss gear. By boss gear, I mean boss weapons. So instead of dashing your egos and fusing into, you know, all the other guilds that are actually putting up a fight and fight the alliance, you know, give them a challenge when it comes to arch bosses and possibly get your chance at arch boss weapon yourself, you're just going to run away and not get one at all. And to me, that kind of makes you a...
Le who? The her.
But I should stop berating people when it comes to their bad life choices when it comes to the game. Because eventually they'll just come back to Pippin. Because they always come back. But back to the main task at hand, I don't see Throne Liberty making it to its anniversary with a good player count, at least on Pippin. I mean, honestly, beyond Pippin, I don't see them making it to their anniversary anyway. I don't see them having over 10,000 players by the time the anniversary runs up, unless they do something drastic like, I don't know, give everyone a free arch boss, or, well, they're going to release a new weapon soon, and they have those raids coming out soon, so that might spike the player count for, like, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but then it's going to drop off like it did when the Talandra expansion came out. Like, peep it, they gained 6,000 players and lost almost 7,000 to this date. And then with them taking crossplay off of Pippin for dungeon matchmaking, they lost a shit ton more players. At this point, a lot of people are just waiting for Chrono Odyssey and Arcade Chronicles to come out, and they're going to be done with this game. Even the streamers and content creators that they're sponsoring are talking about the game being pretty much dead or the game's not in a good place right now. But somebody's out there like, well, this is the natural cycle of a game. This game has been out for barely 8 months now. How is this a natural cycle of a game? My bad, 7 months. It's only been out actually 7 months. Like, not even New World was able to bottom out this quickly. I mean, we have some of the top content creators for Throne Liberty talking about they're not sure if they want to come back to the game, or making videos saying they quit but they just came back to see what was new. Chat, this game is cooked. Pippin server, cooked. The very first maintenance, I've always made a joke that whenever we get one update, we get 15 bugs with it. Now it's one update, 15 bugs, and 3 exploits. And then they don't even take the right corrective measure when it comes to these exploits because people don't get banned anymore because they're so afraid of losing their player base. Like, I grew up in the golden age of MMOs.
Why are you so old?
Where people used to get banned for using exploits, and that put the fear of God in. I'm talking about back in Fiesta Online days where we had a leveling glitch and people used the crap out of it and they rolled us back for 2 whole days. Like, there are people on my server who got to keep the rooms from the trials glitch and then got the rooms for not doing the trials glitch like the rest of us that didn't actually do the trials glitch. I used to praise NCSoft for giving us Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, but I feel like all that credit should now go to ArenaNet because what the hell is NCSoft doing these days? But jumping topics back to the Pippin divestors, I'm about to quit a grind, y'all, because I'm tired of y'all really. Like, y'all want every alliance that builds themselves up to break up their alliance because you suck at planning and you're bad at holding back your ego. Like, imagine the only guild that's still willing to give the alliance a fight is Nightshade. This is the same Nightshade that was allianced with Melt, by the way, who the leaders of Melt wanted Nightshade to merge into Melt because Melt had more to offer, and they didn't want to merge into Nightshade because they didn't want to be led by a woman leader. And yet that leader and her guild are the only ones that's pulling up the fight, while Melt left the server. Like, these are the egos that are keeping y'all from being actually competitive when it comes to fighting an alliance. All these weird egos exist all throughout Pippin. The only reason the original alliance of Warlords, Chosen, Fire Blossom, and Mortals was able to mobilize so quickly and be able to control everything is because none of the rest of the Pippin could get their shit together and be like, hey, we need to form another alliance to fight them. Sure, there were guilds that pulled people together to be able to fight, like Ouroboros and Exodus, but like, where the rest of y'all at? Smoke had Legion and like 3 other guilds under his command, but none of them were ever online. Most of them were alts. Like, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I realize this is why y'all can't fight back. Y'all just really sitting here getting jumped every day, while Priest, Randy, and Pelly are just like,
fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
and I promise y'all that starving mouth stuff is not gonna work. These dudes don't care about being starved out. They will go play other games. We're playing other games right now. And the moment you decide to step back on Pippin and decide you want to put up a fight, we're going to fight you the same way, like what it is. Like, personally, I never understood why people are afraid to die in a video game. It's meant to happen, bro. That's why you have multiple lives. That's why you pop back up in a town or a city center near you. But I guess some of y'all egos too scared of being clipped and put on YouTube. Even though this is not a game where something like that should even matter. There is no 1v1s in this game that make sense. Let's be real about it. Matter of fact, the only matches in this game that make sense are mirror matches of the same class to see who plays their own class better. But y'all take it a level beyond this, and it just makes it very weird because, like, this is what y'all do to kill y'all own server. You're blaming the alliance on killing the server when it's your own fault because you can't handle taking a loss in PvP. The moment y'all take a loss, y'all flee to another server and y'all complain about, oh, you need to break the alliance. Like, why would I let your inability to prepare and act ruin my fun? And having been in some of y'all chats, some of y'all take this way too seriously, G. Like, I get if somebody called you outside your name, insulted your family, you know, talk shit about whoever you were in real life, but like, you died in a video game. Why are you screaming at the mic? Now, I'm not gonna name no names or point no elbows, but you know who I'm talking about if you made it this far. But anyway, that's pretty much the rant I've been wanting to get off my chest for a while. It feels so rejuvenating to let it all out. Yes, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you like my editing for this video. Wasn't that much really. I just put a little pizzazz in there, sprinkle. And then yeah. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's been forever, and peace. And if you made it this far, I mean, there's a little bit more to the video. It's just, you know, us pushing their shit in for another 2 minutes. But enjoy with the music, I guess.